Welcome back here today on the beautiful campuses of Florida Panhandle Technical College. But today it's cold. It's the middle of winter time. We've got a cold breeze blowing. It's probably in the 40s, and it's just a miserable winter day. We're nice and warm in the studio today. As a matter of fact, our guest today is Ashley Maphis. Ashley is currently a senior at Chipley High School. And what we're talking about today is the fact that she's enrolled in the welding program. Ashley's got the better part of a year left to go, and she'll be done. She'll be out there in that workforce, as we say here at the Technical College. One life, 1 year, one great career. And we're going to talk to Ashley about exactly that, about the opportunities afforded her, in this case, as a dual enrolled high school student, and then going forward next year as a full-time student, and then that opportunity, 100% opportunity of going out there in the job market and getting a real job. We'll be right back. Welcome back. As mentioned, our guest today is Ashley Maphis, currently a dual enrolled high school student here in the welding program. We spoke a couple weeks ago. I mentioned that I'd like to get you over on the show as a student who's doing well in the program, and today it was just too cold to be in that cold welding shop, so you said, yeah, let's do it today. Thanks for taking the time and coming on over here with us today.
Oh, you're welcome.
We say that with the over 40 degree and certification programs here on the campus, that there are a whole lot of opportunities to get a well-paid job in the real world. Let's start at the beginning. I know your grandfather, Bill Maphis. For those regular viewers of the show, you've seen us talk to Bill about Legends and Lore and some of the other events that happened at Falling Water State Park here in Chipley. You're a dual enrolled high school student. That means you're carrying a full load in high school, but taking advantage of, at no cost to you or your family, the ability to start these courses here at the Technical College. How did you get involved? How did you find out about the welding program? How did you find out about dual enrollment? And what made you interested in taking that welding course?
Well, welding, you make a lot of money. So I want to make a lot of money one day. And whenever they come to the school and talk to us and everything, then they were talking about all the classes they had and everything, and welding seemed pretty interesting. So. Yeah.
Would it be fair to say or presume that you're the only female in the class at this point?
Yeah, there's another one coming soon though.
Okay. I know in carpentry, there are a couple of young ladies in carpentry right now. In electrical, I don't know if there are any women right now. I know that there have been here in the recent past, in the last year or two. So more and more, those boundaries are being broken as far as the gender gap. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you get a lot of attention as right now the only female in that welding class?
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone gets mad. They say I'm his favorite because I'm the girl. And they're like, you get away with everything. And I say, yeah, I do.
How is it going so far? How are you enjoying the class? How are you progressing? Do you feel that you're accomplishing what you want to do?
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty fun. And it's not as hard as I thought it would be. Yeah.
When you say it pays well, mm-hmm. What are those numbers? What are you looking at, and what kind of numbers would it have taken to get your attention, and on what numbers do you base that that higher pay? What are you looking at maybe?
Maybe like 80,000 plus. Like I don't want to be like most people around here, you know, just paying the bills and everything. I want to exceed that and do better than that.
Now, when we speak to Eddie about his program, he mentions that there are a lot of jobs for welders, and there is the ability for 100% job placement once you graduate, but you can't always stay right here.
Yeah.
Are you finding that you're probably going to have to move away to some extent to be able to get those jobs?
Yeah, like go out whenever, wherever, and just at least for a few years, but then settle back here.
The ability to travel is huge, and the way I understand it, some of these companies will pay a per diem. They'll pay your food and lodging and so forth. So even when you're out there on their behalf on a job somewhere in North Dakota someplace or wherever, they're actually paying you your living expenses. So you get to save all of your pay, and that per diem pays for your everyday living costs. I would imagine that that's kind of attractive in itself.
Yeah. I mean, free living, free everything. Just go and work and save and invest and make a whole bunch of money.
What's the best part, aside from the opportunity down the road to make good money, mm-hmm. and aside from the fact that you can hang out with a bunch of guys, what do you find to be the best part of being in a welding program such as this?
I mean, I'm learning, so I can take this with me whenever. Even if one day I decide I don't want to be a welder or for some reason can't, if I have to for some reason, I could do it.
And I'm glad that you say that, because welding is one of those things that, although there are new things that come along, if you're talking about stick welding, if you're talking about cutting with an arc torch, with an acetylene torch, if you're talking about brazing with an acetylene torch, those things have been around a long time. Yep. Those same technologies are being used every day. So once, as you point out, once you have those skills, you can always find a job somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, your dad, your grandfather, rather, as I pointed out in the pre-show, is Bill Maphis. Mm-hmm. He's retired from the state, worked in the state park system for a long time. What was his counsel to you? What was his advice to you when he found out for the first time that you were interested in doing this?
Well, at first I wanted to do underwater welding until I discovered like how bad it is on you and how life-threatening and everything it can be. So he didn't want me to do that, and he talked me out of that. But now I'm just going to do like stick welding or something. And they're all happy about it. I mean, they make me weld up bush hogs and stuff around the house all the time. So
you're already getting some practical experience, as you say, around the house, and probably friends that need welding done?
Yeah.
We recently, along with the drafting program, went down to Easton Shipbuilding and filmed a couple of ships being launched for the first time, and had the opportunity to interview some of the drafts people that graduated from here and then went to work there. I would imagine that were we to look around down there at Eastern Shipbuilding, we'd see a lot of welders that came from here. Do you know people that have graduated from this school, and if so, where are they out working?
Well, there's one, Tristan. He graduated just a few days ago, and he hasn't even been out a week and a half, and I think today was going to go take a test to see if they could hire him at a place, and if he passes, they said he's going to start making $15 to $18 an hour. And I got a few other ones, Quentin, and they're already got jobs a week or two out. They had a job, and they're making good money.
As a high school student, if you wanted to work a part-time job now, mm-hmm. what would be the options open to you in the Chipley area, ballpark?
Fast food, maybe clothing stores, stuff like that.
Paying how much?
Minimum wage.
Exactly. Yeah. Hats off to you. There are not a lot of young adults that take advantage of that dual enrollment. Your parents had to have been happy to know that you could get this kind of training for free until you graduated.
Yeah, they were.
And I asked you about your grandfather. Your parents, what did they think about all this?
They're happy. They're proud of me. I mean, they always tell me, you need to get a job. But I'm like, I'm going to college. I'm going to school. Just leave me alone.
Recently, within the last year, Washington Holmes Technical Center became what is now Florida Panhandle Technical College. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that, and what's the difference now between being able to say a year ago, I'm going to the technical college, or I'm going to the VOTEC, and now being able to say, I'm going to the technical college? Does that mean something?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like before it wasn't on such a high standard. So now I feel like I can tell people I went to college instead of just saying I went to a technical school or a trade school and I got a trade. I can say, no, I went to college.
Across the state, they've seen that when a technical center becomes a college, that they get about a 30% increase in new students because of exactly what you just said. That people say, wow, I want to go to college. I don't necessarily want to go to FSU. I don't even know what I want to do with the rest of my life. That's 4 years. Come out of there with $100,000 in debt and still don't have a skill. In your case, you're going to finish this program. You're going to be the ability to go on to become a certified welder. And you can still go doing anything else the rest of your life. I mean, how old are you now? 18?
17.
So you've got a lot of time ahead of you. You may go through several careers, as many of us have, through the course of your life. But no matter what you do, even if you decide to go to a 4-year college, you've got a skill that you can work part-time as a welder making $20 an hour versus whatever minimum wage is now.
Yeah.
What's the most challenging part of being in the welding program?
Well, I mean, there's nothing really that hard about it. It's every day pretty much you go in there, you do the same thing, but...
I saw you last week, I guess it was, and you had the pneumatic...
Ooh, that was the most challenging part, probably.
Now, what do you call that tool?
It's a needler. It was just aggravating.
And it's to remove rust?
Yeah, it just knocks it off. It vibrates and then it knocks it all off.
You were not real happy that day.
No, it's more like slow, monotonous work. Or like whenever we were doing the ornaments for the school, you just have to sit there and trace all day long and trace, and that's what I don't like.
Now, in all fairness, some welding can become sort of if not monotonous, it becomes sort of repetitive over time. Do you foresee that as being a challenge, perhaps?
If it's something like tracing ornaments, yes. But if it's something like just welding the same thing all the time, probably not, because I could always get better instead of just get tired of it.
When you decided to that you were interested in coming here to the technical college, talk a little bit about how that transpired. I would imagine you've got an advisor or a guidance counselor at the high school, and then you had to interact with the administration here. Talk a little bit about how that worked.
Well, my first day of school, I went there. I had 4 classes, the ones that I go to every day, and the rest of the day was just free. And I asked my guidance counselor, I was like, do I go over there? And she's like, yeah, go over there. Well, I came over here, so I had to get the paperwork from them, go fill it out, get my guidance counselor to sign it, bring it back up here, and then 2 days later I was in the class.
Explain a little bit about how that process worked. Once you came here, what did they have you do? Did you have to take placement tests? What all did you have to do to fulfill requirements?
Nothing. I just came up here, told them I wanted to be in welding, didn't know what I had to do. So they handed me some papers, told me to go fill them out, sign them, bring them back. Got my parents to sign them, got everyone to sign them, then brought them back, and they told me, okay, you're in it.
So relatively simple.
Yeah.
Now, do you come by bus from the school every day?
No, I ride with somebody.
Okay, so because I know there's a bus that comes over, so if you have private transportation, you can use that.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years?
Hopefully, well, have a good job, steady pay, maybe have a family, like 10 or 15 years, not 5, but 10 or 15 years, and just out there living and just doing good.
Do you know any women who currently are adults and working in the welding industry?
Mm-mm.
That's sort of interesting, because I'm sure that if our viewers, one of the first questions is, why would anyone want to be a welder, male or female? But when you're coming as a female into a world which is dominated by males to a large extent, what kind of thought process went into that? And obviously, as you pointed out, it was something that interested you. Obviously, the pay appeared to be potentially good, and that was all it took for you.
Well, I mean, I live on a farm, and most of my family are men, so I've always grown up doing men things. They're out there changing the transmission. I got to get out there and help them or whatever it is. So, plow the field, whatever. So I've always done manly stuff, and I'd rather do manly stuff than I guess they say women things.
Girly girl?
Yeah.
As we mentioned, you've been involved in FFA, and you've been involved in the swine part of that, of the competitions and all. Are you still involved in FFA?
Yes, I am. I have a cow right now, and she just recently had a baby, so I'll be showing at the Washington County Fair as a cow-calf pair in March, the beginning of March.
So it was just about a year ago, I guess, when we saw you, and I think you kissed a pig for us.
Yeah.
We've got those photos, and we'll sell them back to you at a good price.
Oh, well, thank you.
Ashley, if I was somebody you were in high school with, and I moved off a couple of years ago, and I ran into you in Walmart, and I said, Ashley, aren't you excited? We're both about ready to graduate from high school. I moved out of town, but I'm somewhere else. What are you doing these days? What would you tell them? How would you explain to them what you're doing these days?
Tell them I'm going to school. I go to college, I weld, then I just usually hang out with friends on the weekends and my boyfriend, and that's about it.
And if I asked you, what are your plans for the future, and where do you see yourself in that 5-year period, and how is what you're doing in school going to help you do that? How would you do that, and how would you maybe try to get me interested in possibly looking at what you're doing?
Well, I tell them that, you can go ahead and dual enroll, and you could get into the program, be out of it in 2 years. You can already be done with college and everything in 2 years, be working at a good going rate. You wouldn't be in college 6 or 8 years like a lot of people are, or not knowing where you're going to be or what you're going to do. So you'd have a plan. It would just help you in life.
From what you've experienced so far, it's fair to say you would recommend other people to investigate at least what else is offered here on the campus, if not welding.
Yeah. I mean, it's always something good to fall back on if you decide you don't want to do it.
Thank you for taking the time today. I know that it was a cold day. I caught you in the middle of practicing welding, so you're probably staying a little bit more warm than some of the guys that are in the middle of the floor. But I appreciate you taking the time. Maybe we'll visit with you somewhere down the road, particularly after you get out of high school and you start full-time here, and maybe follow your progress on along. I think that our viewers would like to see how you use this, and then even beyond that, as we do with many graduates, have you come back after you've got a good job and brag a little bit about how well the technical college worked for you. Would you be willing to do that?
I will.
Thanks again for being here.
Yes, anytime.
Our guest today has been Ashley Maphis, currently a senior at Chipley High School, dual enrolled here at the Florida Panhandle Technical College campus, taking welding, showing a few photos right now of Ashley in her class. If you are looking for a way to retool your life, if you're a high school student, not quite sure what you'd want to do for the rest of your life, come check out the class catalog. Come talk to Student Services. You can go to our website, fptc.edu. You can stop right here at Student Services on Hoyt Street in downtown Chipley on the campus. Take a look at the over 40 degree and certification programs available here. If you're an adult and you've lost a job, if you're looking to make a change in your life, this is a place which, as our motto goes, will take one life, 1 year, and give you one great career here at Florida Panhandle Technical College. We'll be right back.